Hello, welcome back. This is Shurful. So this is the continuation of Maven project. Last class we have created two classes for two different pages following page object model, right? So now it's time to create some test classes. Okay, in our test class would be under source test folder, and we have already a package, okay, the code and box automation lab.maven example. So in this package we're going to create some test classes. So let's create a class. I would give a name. First would be the first class would be say about the navigation bar. So first would be the navigation bar. Navigation bar. I'm giving a name, navigation bar test. Okay, navigation bar test. Okay, here in navigation bar test, what I'm going to do first in my I'm going to use called our base class, because I need this initialize driver, this method. Okay, so let's use the inheritance. So use the inheritance. It means I'm going to make navigation bar test as my child class, and then use extends keyword, and my parent class would be base class. Okay, base, import the package. You can see import base. Okay, the base is inside a resources, so import this, and now I can call any method. Okay, I can call any method from the base class. So I can call initialize driver. Okay, let's convert this. Let's convert okay, TestNG. Create TestNG class. Let's convert this whole pack, this project to convert to TestNG. Okay, let me convert to TestNG. Finish it. Okay, this is a TestNG here. Okay, now I want to call public. I'm going to create a method. It's called public void initialize in this method. I'm going to call the method I have in my base class. Okay, so which is initialize driver. So I can call, okay, I would say add throws declaration. Add throws declaration. Okay, I have exception. It's good. Let's put this one, because initialize driver have the knowledge about my driver, also the browser option. Okay, so I'm going to put this one in a say variable, set driver variable. Okay, now initialize driver, if you see here is my initialize driver, and it's a returning driver, so it has the knowledge about the driver who's going to do all those things. So when I call this here, so it means it has the knowledge about the driver, so I put this one in a variable called driver. So this driver have the actual real driver knowledge. Okay, so then I can say here, now after I initialize, I have to, after I get the knowledge about my driver as well as the browser option, now I have to launch the application. Launch the application, it means I have to say driver dot to launch. We can use get method, right? Get, then pass the URL. So what's the URL? Where is the URL? URL in our properties file. This is the URL, right? This is the URL. So let's use this URL variable. So how can I get this? How can I get this the URL key from data properties file? So in my base class, if you go, we have a variable. We create a variable called properties prop, which is the return type prop, a properties class, right? So prop is object object reference of properties class, what can load, what can load the file, also get the properties. You can say prop.get properties, so we can use here properties also in our over here. We'll say prop dot, you can say get properties. Okay, we can call the prop variable because prop variable here in my base class also I put in an object in a public, it's a global variable. So here I said okay, pop dot get property. What the property I want to pass? I want to put URL, this key, URL key, right? So come back here, I will put in a URL here. Okay, so this will launch it will get the value of URL, which is nothing, it's the application, right? Okay, after I launch the application, now what I want, so let's put this one. So I definitely want to launch this method, the initialize. How about before test? Before test. This is the before test annotation. We know this is the before test annotation, and let me add the add TestNG library, and then add the import the package annotation. Import before test annotation. Okay, make sure you import the right package, TestNG annotation. Okay, so before test, so this method will apply to XML test folder. So in my XML TestNG XML file, the test folder, whatever I have a test folder, I will give you name of the test folder. So this method will apply up there, and this will launch at the very first of my for that specific test folder. Okay, before then any other method gets executed. Okay, so this is the initialize steps I need before we launch any, or before we do any testing for an application. So next I will create another method for the test cases, right? Say public, say void base page, let's give a name base page navigation or home page navigation. How about, or let's give a base page. Okay, base page base page navigation bar, base page navigation bar. So this is the actual method for our test cases, right here. So in my test cases, what I need in base page navigation, I need for what is the landing page, right? A landing page. In a landing page, I need this navigation bar, right? This is the, I need this element for the navigation bar, homepage header navigation, so which is inside this this element inside this, tied to this method get navigation bar, right? Get navigation bar. So I have to call this method from this class. So if I want to call this method, any method from a different class, I have to, for the class name landing, right, I have to create an object of that class, right? So let's create an object of this class, new landing page. Landing page, create an object of the landing page, and then put in a variable, say L, and the return time is the same method name, right? Now hover my mouse, import the landing page. Okay, import the landing page object, yes. Okay, hover mouse. Okay, now you can see it is also expecting an argument in the landing page Webdriver, because in landing page, you can see landing page, I have a constructor, and constructor I have a variable, and constructor I have a parameter which is x parameter, type is Webdriver. So I have to pass actual value to replace this x variable, which will be assigned to driver, this driver. Okay, so here I can now say the actual driver. So because this driver, the driver over here I have, it has the actual knowledge about the driver executable, real driver exe file. So let's pass this one, this driver here, driver, right? So now this driver will replace with this, will assign to X. So X is now driver. So now this driver, which is this global variable driver, is have the now live of the actual driver. Okay, this is the way you can assign your the driver in our landing page. Okay, now because when you create an object of a class, it's by default called is constructor. So that's why I was expecting, you know, in a argument, so it's going to be replace of X variable in my landing page class. Okay, now after I did this, so here I'm going to use this L dot. You can see all the method inside this landing page is going to show here. So I will call get navigation bar. Okay, I will call get navigation bar, which is have the knowledge about the navigation element. Okay, and I will say, so it should, you know, it should get navigation bar, it should find that bar, that element, I mean that navigation bar, and then I'm going to say is displayed method will return true or false. So if this, you know, find this method find this element, the navigation bar, you know, it's supposed to, and this is display method will apply over there, it's supposed to return true. It means yes. And then we can put this is the whole statement using sr.srtrue, sr.srtrue, sr.srtrue. You can see true, sr.srtrue. You can see sr.srtrue boolean condition. Okay, we don't need to this one. Okay, the sr.srtrue always expect the true condition. If we find return true here, it will say pass this, it will, you know, consider this test case as a pass. So let's put this one as a annotation is a test, so because it is an actual test class. So import, you make sure you import test org TestNG, not the JUnit. Okay, click on there, here we go, TestNG, right? So after we display this one, and then let's click. So after we find, you know, do the test case for the navigation, next we'll do the drop down. If we go here, let's go back this page, let's minimize this. Okay, here we have a we have an element about this drop down. So we'll select which one, say Selenium. All right, so if we want to select Selenium, what do we have to do? We have to, let's see the inspect here, we have a drop down. So drop down, if you go inside, you can see there is a option value attribute, and it has a value like option 1, which is Selenium, option 2 it's a Selenium. So we can use value attribute. Okay, and then so value equals to option 1 equals to Selenium. Okay, we can use this one, the value. Okay, value is option 1, which is a Selenium one. So here next we're going to create a public void. Let's give a method name drop down select drop down. Okay, drop down select method. Okay, and then inside this is another test case, so it should be at the rate test annotation, right? And what do you want to do? We're going to use the, again, same thing we're going to do, we're going to create an object for the landing page. Again, same thing, landing page. So now I'll have the knowledge about all the methods, so we can call the method name. So we can call l dot, then get drop down. The method is get drop down, right? Get login, get drop down. This one have the knowledge about the drop down element, right? So get drop down, and we know this. If you have the get drop down is a static drop down, right? This is a static values, right? So this is a static value. So to select any static values from a drop down options, we have to use select class, right? We know this. So let's create a select class, create an object of the select class, new select class, and pass the element. We know the element is, this is the here the element. So return type would be, say, variable, and then class select, right? So we know this, to select any drop down, any option from a drop down, a static drop down, we have to use select class. So we create an object of the select class, new select, s is a object reference, select is a same return type, and we have to pass that element. So this is the element, okay? This is the idea inside a drop down, get drop down method from our landing page. If you go our landing page, we have a get drop down, which is about the about the information, the locator for this drop down. Okay, this is the drop down. So drop down I pass over here. Okay, so let's go back to our test class here. So let's hover our mouse and then import. You have to make sure you import the right package. Okay, select class, okay, package support UI. Okay, now we're going to use s dot. We can use select by value. We have seen that there's a value variable and it has option 1, option 2, select by value, select by index, whatever you say. Let's use the select by value. Select by value. What's the value option? We're going to, what's the option we have seen? Option 1. Okay, option 1 equals to Selenium. So we want to select the Selenium. So let's, the value attribute value is option 1. So let's put this one option 1. Okay, looks good. Now again we're going to do assert now. Assert dot assert true. Assert true. Assert dot assert true. We're going to confirm this one is displayed. At the dot is displayed, it should be displayed, right? Okay, save it. So now this navigation bar test, okay, this class I have it to testing, I have it to test method. Okay, one is for the navigation bar and another one is for the drop down select. Okay, now let's close it. Landing page, okay, let's open another what's the method? Okay, let's create another class, new class for another for rest of the test class, for the test cases. So we'll give a name, example. So we did navigation and drop down, so valid title. Let's give a class for valid title. Valid title test. Okay, give a name. We'll do the same thing in valid title class. Let's do extend base class and then import base. Okay, and here we'll do, let's put everything in a one method, right? So let's public void, okay, public say base page title, okay, say page title method name, this, let's give this one at the red test annotation. So import TestNG annotation, okay, good. And then here I'm going to, so what I'm going to do in this, in a page title, okay, so over here we're going to validate the title, the actual title we get from this page. For this automation practice, for this there's a title, so for this text we're going to get the actual title, and then we'll compare our actual title with our expected title. Okay, so we have this one. First get the information about our driver initialize. So our driver is, again, this is the method from our base class. So here, come here, so we'll say call this method and put in a variable, same thing we're going to do, driver. Okay, initialize driver, add through declaration, and after that we're going to use same thing we're going to do. We're going to, where is the other test class? Here we're going to use the get properties method for prop to launch the URL. Okay, and then we're going to, so it's launching the URL, and after that we're going to landing page, same thing we're going to do here. We're going to create an object of landing page, so that we can use the method inside the landing page related with title. Okay, so what is the method name? Get title. Okay, so we'll use, okay, we'll say l dot get title, right? Get title, and then so it will get the title, and then if we want we can, so get title, so this will get title. Okay, so you want to get the text of the title, if you this will get the title. Okay, but you have to, if you wanna see the title in a text format, so we have to use get text method, get text, so it will have the text, your title in a text format, right? And then we can use assert true, assert equals, because we want to compare our actual title with our expected title. Assert equal, let's assert equal, we can say assert equals, not the equal, so we'll use, okay, assert equals, yeah, actual, and okay, assert equals, it expect actual with expected. What is actual? This is the actual we'll get. Okay, copy this, paste it here, this is the actual, and what we're expecting, the expectation would be like automation practice. Okay, automation practice. Okay, this is the, so we don't need this one. Okay, and after that we want to, so this will hold on, if we go back to my previous test, okay, it will open the Okay, this will launch the page and we'll do the base navigation and then drop down and okay, and then this will do the drop down. Okay, then no problem, this will do the validate the title. Okay, and after that we can use after okay, at the red let's use tear down method. Okay, let's use this one, after method annotation, and we'll use tear down. Okay, we'll say happy tear down method. So tear down method will close the, after that I want to close the window, so I'm using driver.close. So this window will close and hover mouse. Okay, good. Here we go. So valid test is done, and after that I want to click for the our login page. So I have to click on the login page. So let's create another test class. Give a name, class name, login page test, login say page test. Okay, here I'm going to do the same thing. I will extend with the base class so that I can call the initialize driver method directly. Extend so base class, and then import. Okay, okay, okay. So I extend the base class again, and here what are you going to do? We're going to again call, let's create a method, public void say initialize. Okay, or same method, I think initialize. Okay, landing page, not the landing page, navigation bar test, initialize. Let's create the same method again here, login page. Okay, and before test also, this is the before test, and then let's create a test method. Let's create a test method. Okay, let's test method. Okay, here since it's this is going to be test method to enter username and password, how about we're going to use data provider using the data provider annotation. Okay, for data provider annotation we're going to use the data provider annotation to pass runtime some data like username, password, okay, to our specific test case in our class level. So we know this, we use the data provider annotation to pass some set of data in a runtime for a specific test method in a class level. So to do this we're going to use data provider annotation. So let's use data provider, and then we'll give a public name. Public, it's object, is a two-dimensional data providers, annotation so that we can pass more than one data, like more than one set of data. And the method name say get data, method name get data, and then this is the method, right? Let's hover our mouse, import data provider annotation. Okay, here this one, and then get data just a method name, right? So it's fine. So we'll say, and then inside here, so this is, we have to create an object of the object class, because object, this is also a class, okay, which is whole, because it's an array. We know this is a two-dimensional array, because it's a one is for a row, another one is for a column, since we'll have a number sets of data. For every row we'll have a two column, like username and also password, so we can transfer number of sets of data. Where is the node? I can, so this is the node. Let me put some node here. I have the node already written. So row stands for how many different data type or sets that should run, and column, so this is the first one is row, second one is column, right? So I will post right now just one set of data. So if you want to put, and this is a zeroth row, if you want to pass more than one set of data, you can again initialize here. This is the data. Okay, get data. This is the the object variable for the object class. So you can say data, then a one row, zeroth column, then one row, one column, and pass the different sets of another sets of data. Okay, and then at the end return the variable. What's a variable? Data is the object reference variable, right? So now let's get back to our actual test method, right? Our test method would be here. This is now, it's the at the rate of test method, at the rate test. Okay, what's the test method would be? We're calling the data provider, data provider equals to, what's the name of the method name for the data provider? It's called get data, passes here. Okay, and then we'll give the name method. Okay, let's hover mouse here, import the TestNG annotation, and then we'll say public void okay, we'll say here we're going to, let me see, okay, that's right. So here we're going to give a name public, but for this test method, so base page login. So base page, so let's give a name base page login, base page login. Okay, base page login, and then here, since we call data provider here, so we can we have to, so in here we have a two-dimensional and so every sets of data I have, so zeroth row, zeroth column, I have one variable, one set, one variable, and there's another variable. So it's in zeroth row, there's a two column, right? 0 and 1. So for this one I have to pass a variable here, and for second one I have passed another variable, and both should be string. Say string say username, comma, and then string say password for the password. Okay, and here now what do you want to do? I want to create an first I have to get the element about the username and password, the field. I have to I have to create an object of the landing page, right? So same thing I did before, landing page, create an object of a landing page and pass an argument, because a landing page has a constructor, right? Remember, the landing page have a constructor, so I have to pass an argument. So our mouse page object here, and then now I'm going to use l dot. So what's the get login? So first we'll click the login button, right? So there's a method for get login. Get login method have the knowledge about the login element, right? That button. So we have to get this button, and then we have to click up there, right? Then it will go to the login page. So we'll click on login button, right? And then so this is the click on the login button, right? Click on login button. This is about clicking on login button. And after that, after we click on login button, so it will go to the login page. Let's put some thread.slips, because it will move to the next buttons, next page. So it may takes a couple of seconds to load it. So let's say 5 seconds. Okay, hover mouse. Okay, add through declaration. Add through declaration. And then so now it's moved to the login page. So login page, so I have to click, before I click on the anything I do in the login page, I have to, no more landing page I need to go to the login page. Here's the element over here. Here's the 3 methods: get element, get password, get login, about the 3 element in login page. So I have to create an object of the login page here first, okay, before I click on the login field, right? Or type something in the login field. So let's create an object. Let's create an object, new login page, and pass driver, same we did before, pass driver, and put in a variable, say lp login, and then return type is the same class name, login page, right? Hover our mouse, and then I will say import login page, right? And then now I can call lp dot, you can say get email. Get email is the email field, a username field, right? Get email, and then I would say send keys. What I want to type, here is the username, because this username variable, the argument parameter, will get the value from here. So this will transfer this to data, will get from this get data through this get data method, and for the first element, first column's value will store in username, which is the email address I want to pass. So this I will pass here, and similarly this will type this the actual username, which is this one, and similarly, and after that I will go to password. To get the password, we have a method called get password, and I will use the send keys, and I will pass this password variable here, okay, which is the password, this one, okay. And then after that I will click on for here, let me see, after that I will click on, if I go here, login, and then username, password, and then I will click on login button. So to click the login button, I will again call the element, the login element, the method related with the login element, which is the get login. I think get login, this is the one, and then I will click up there, right? You can see click method. Pretty good, right? And after that we can we can close the our window. So we can call after method, we can call tear down method. After method, okay, import after method TestNG. Okay, sounds good. Pretty much. So that's all the another test classes, right? So I think that should be good enough for the test classes. Okay, this is the 3 test classes. So for that's all. Okay, so we have a 3 test classes, like navigation bar test, and then valid title and login page test. Okay, and each and every classes we have some before test method which will apply in XML, in XML TestNG XML test folder or test module level, and then we have an actual method related with our test which is using the test annotation, and at the end we have a after test annotation which is the tear down method to close the window. Okay, so in the next tutorial we're going to see listener class, how we can add the listener class if there is any mistake happen, if there is any method got failed, so that it takes the screenshot of that method through the listener class. We'll see about the listener class, and we'll see how we can inject the listener class in an XML file, as well as at the end we'll update our POM XML file and we'll run it. Okay, so thank you so much. I will see you in next tutorial.